Life's a bank with no rehearsal. Then come for your bro. Can't take it personal. Cause the devil is a lie. Hey. I'm telling you the truth. Hey. It's all what you do. Hey. Some things you gotta do. Hey. 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 Hey.
Hey, barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. We're going to jump into this topic, man. We go live Thursday to Sunday, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I want to give my thoughts. And I'm gonna do a part two. I'm gonna do an Eddie Hearn's perspective too. The Zone and Eddie Hearn next, okay? Saturday, we ain't doing much. Ain't no boxing. Is it boxing on tonight? I don't know. I have no idea. But anyways, man, Al Haymon and PBC as it relates to the creation on the line of Gary Russell and Devin Haney. You know what I mean? It's just funny how we got to have this conversation. You understand what I'm saying? It's like the elephant in the room, man, that no one wants to touch, man. And Al Haymon's human, dog. You know what I mean? He's done a great job with business, but as you guys know, you're gonna hear nothing but the truth on this channel. And this is the answer to all your DMs and everyone been wanting my perspective on it. And here it is. As it pertains to the business as it is right now, right? Has Al Haymon done a tremendous job at creating revenue and bringing boxing to everyone's living room for free on a major channel where you don't need HBO, ESPN, you just come on, USA, what other channel? Showtime, all the above is true, right? He's doing a phenomenal job at that, like beyond our own comprehension when we think of boxing, because just 5 years ago, was Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn and the WBO were in cahoots to try and get Al Haymon out of business, and he withstood it. You know, he made some great business moves, and he leveraged the Floyd Mayweather deal at Showtime and created PBC. He monetized Showtime. That's called an opportunist, guys. All right, that word was misappropriated by Andre Ward. You know what I'm saying? It's not a negative term. You know what I mean? So, and he leveraged it. He turned that $200 million deal through his fighters on the undercard, built them up as stars, and then put them on NBC. Genius move, right? For free, basically, because they were selling out and breaking records every time Floyd Mayweather did something. Now, whether Floyd Mayweather owns a piece of PBC, that's on him. I don't know how he did it, but Al Haymon was a genius. That's called leveraging. That's called hedging if you're in the betting world, okay? And if you're in a property world, that's leveraging your assets, okay? That's leveraging your liquid and your equity to buy more property, okay? Now, with that being said, if I'm Al Haymon, the businessman, okay, I need, and I'm not speaking for Al Haymon, don't know him, never met him, never spoke to him or nothing like that. So I can't even speak for it. I'm not speaking for him. This is just my mindset as a businessman. And my credentials are, I turned the unemployment check into a multi-million-dollar portfolio. So I think I can speak on being a successful businessman, right? I think Al Haymon is looking at this like, from one perspective, he's happy that the powers to be are not making boxing as per usual. Like Jay-Z said, politics is usual. You know what I mean? Like politics is usual. From one perspective, he's like, yeah, we taking all the power. Yeah, Dan Rafael has no power no more. I like the fact that Black fighters are going to Black media and creating this momentum. I think he appreciates that, right? And on one end, he's leveraged them. He's been such a great job at playing Robin Hood, right? And why I call him the Robin Hood Project is because he has taken the money from the rich and given it to his what he believes is potential, right? Deontay Wilder walked into the gym with a keg on his shoulder, right? Earl Spence started boxing at 15. You know, Danny Garcia was making $15,000, $20,000 a fight over at Golden Boy before he signed with Al Haymon. True stories. Paulo Malignaggi was fed up with boxing, right? Couldn't get a fair handshake. He thought it was unfair, even hated on Al Haymon. He extended an olive branch to Paulo Malignaggi, and he basically rebranded and recreated himself. And now Paulo Malignaggi is a personality in boxing because of the olive branch of Al Haymon. So all across the board, not just black athletes, but just leveraging people to build his brand and simultaneously helping black athletes and whoever else will go on board with him to be successful. Even that other kid from Burbank, the Armenian guy that lost to Triple G. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he even said one of the biggest mistakes he did was leaving Al Haymon. And Zarkosian, Mar DeRozan, yeah. And by the looks of it, Canelo makes up 97% of Golden Boy. They're at odds ends. They're gonna have to have a breach of contract and stuff like that. And so by the looks of it, on the surface level and in real life, Al Haymon has done a stupendous job at creating wealth in the boxing game and creating independent wealth upon his fighters and his managers and his promoters. You know, just look what he did for Tom Brown Promotions. Look what he did for Lou DiBella. You understand? Lou DiBella what's that called? Broadway boxing shows, and he left HBO, built this brand, lost the network. So on all fronts, he's been an asset to boxing. Now, where Al Haymon has been a genius at is being Robin Hood inside the construct as boxing is today. He saw weaknesses, filled the hole with weakness. You ever put silicone, you know what I mean, in your bathroom and shit and filled in the holes? That's what Al Haymon did. You understand? So the water can stop going through and stuff like that around the window sills and stuff like that. That's what Al Haymon did to as it is today, right? And with boxing, with Devin Haney and Team Haney and Team Russell, putting boxing on for the people and seeing how the negotiation worked. You know what I mean? It was some gnats and not gnats, but you know how you got the motherfucking the dust and shit. You know what I mean? Because I got shadows and shit because I got the light behind me and shit, and I got a mirror right here. I'm like, I think something is, you know, anyways, man. You know, you see something inside of your eye. But as I digress, Al Haymon doesn't know protocol in this new market space that just was created over the past 2 weeks. And yes, last 3 weeks. Yeah, and yes, it started on Barbershop Conversations, and I'm thankful that y'all recognize it. And I genuinely appreciate that. You know, without my relationship with Gary, maybe Gary is not as open, you know, and it has spawned into something that has become bigger than Barbershop Conversations, you know. And Al Haymon has yet to delve into this market space. And how I know this, he hired Brian Kenny, who disrespected Floyd Mayweather. He hired Brian Kenny, who disrespected Earl Spence. Or he put people in position to hire them. But at the end of the day, whether it's Bill Wagner or whether it was Al Haymon, I don't know. But he's partnered up with them, right? He has Kelly Swanson in place who says, nobody cares about black stories. Is that the quote, the exact quote? You know what I mean? Just focus on boxing. No one cares about your black stories. End quote. That's a direct quote. And so he was able to be a maestro in all of this, right? And this is all new to him. How I know? He has no YouTube talent on Fox. He has no YouTube talent on Showtime. That's a flaw. That's a major flaw. And Steven, I'm shocked Steven Espinoza hasn't picked up on this. I'm shocked Steven Espinoza, knowing, well, he knows I'm not going to want a job, But I'm shocked he hasn't confided in me and said, Fred, who do you think would be a great person to use or use me as a think tank? And me meaning people on YouTube, people on Instagram, not me as in barbershop conversations. Okay. I don't want you to think I'm that arrogant, you know what I mean? Although I am proud of me. But the fact that he hasn't used this YouTube spectrum as a think tank, okay, and that's that has put boxing back, you know, just to show you how it goes. Al Heyman has partnered up with Showtime, and Showtime hired 2 white guys at a weigh-in, and no black guy, no black guy that does the voice, the play-by-play, the blow-by-blow, the personality. You know what I mean? Uh, um, as as part of their talent. You know, Brian Custer does a phenomenal job, and I think Brian Custer is a genius. You know, he's leveraging his relationships at Showtime, and he does bad. I listen to him when he does the Big East. I've listened to Brian Custer's voice for years. You know, and I'm just fortunate enough that I get to see him once a month. You know, and yeah, Brian Custer is a huge asset, and I believe that I'll save that. No, I'll say it now. I believe black people in position, no matter how you feel about them, is an asset. You understand? Their ancestors will connect with them at some point. There's, I mean, 90%. There is a 10% that just bullshit. You know what I mean? And I think what Brian Custer is doing on his platform, I've talked about his videos and countless videos. You know what I mean? I like when I see black talent interviewing with black talent. You know what I mean? It's just something that can't be recreated with an Al Bernstein, with the Brian Kenny, with a what's the other name? Chris Mannix or Dan Raphael or Keith Idec. You know what I mean? Lance Pugmire, Michael Coppinger. It's something that can't create. And black and people got to understand, black media is not monolithic. You can hate me and like Brian Custer. You can hate me and like Blue Blood. You know what I mean? Like people just lump black media up in one lump sum. All y'all bad. No, you can hate me. It's okay. I welcome the hate. You know, I put myself in position to be quote unquote the great agitator. I'm comfortable in that role. You know what I mean? I would rather be Joker than Batman. Simply put, you know, and so I like when people tweet negative shit about me, make videos about me. I'm not mad about that. I pretend to be mad. You know what I mean? But as I digress, Al Heyman, this internet cyber boxing shit, Steven Espinoza and Billy Wagner. Is that his name? Billy Wagner? Billy Wagner is the closing pitcher for the Houston Astros years ago. I'm not sure. Billy Wanger. Is it Wanger? Somewhere. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Fox, Showtime, Al Heyman, right? They're not used to doing this social media shit. That was the one. If there was more, I can't think of it right now, but that was the one thing that Eddie Hearn didn't capitalize on it because he was too arrogant. He was too arrogant. He was too arrogant and too proud to pretend not to be smarter than YouTubers. You know, the 48 laws of power. One of the 48 laws of power say, speak to the man's strength. Speak to his strength. Eddie Hearn was too arrogant to speak to a man's strength. And Billy Wanger, Al Heyman, Steven Espinoza is ignoring this YouTube phenomenon. They still believe articles. Tim Smith is probably in that little realm there too. They still think articles and those 1980, 90 newspapers like Ring Magazine, that shit, man, if you subscribe to Ring Magazine, I mean, shit, it's 2 months too late. Right? It's 2 months too late. The moment news drop, Boxing Ego is doing the video. I'm doing the video. Blue Blood is doing the video. Champ Size going live, you know, and the hits keep coming. So I think that it's a that's the dynamic that that we're listing on one level. Now, if we take it a step further, right? If we're gonna go as deep as we need to be. We're going into the abyss in this video on as it relates to Al Haymon and Gary Russell Jr. Al Haymon has not done a great job with Gary, in my personal opinion. Okay, he has not done a great job with Gary Russell's career. Right? Was, and will Gary Russell be better than Leo Santa Cruz? 3 times better. Was, and will Gary Russell be better than Abner Mares? 5 times better than Abner Mares. Was, and will be better than Carl Frampton? At least 2 times better than Carl Frampton. These are all facts. Facts. Raise your hand if you believe Leo Santa Cruz beats Gary Russell. Exactly. No, impossible. So yes, Gary Russell has only fought once every 5 years, and there's dual responsibility in that. You can't place all the blame on Al Haymon. You can't place all the blame on Team Russell, right? So there is some cohesion, right? There is some, you know what I mean? They have to be one side has to adhere with the other side, right? There has to be adhesive, right? What's the word? I don't know. I'm just making up words and shit. Assivity. You know what I mean? What's that? What Martin say? What's that word Martin used to say, man? That shit. Oh man, Martin was a funny nigga, man. Put it in the comment section, man. When Martin used to make up them words. What was that in Boomerang or in his TV show? The black ball and the white ball and Toni Braxton. My God. She's probably one of the few celebrities I ain't touched when I was a young kid, man. My God. Man, that's one of the blessings that growing up and going to Venice High School and living on the West Side. Oh, you got, man. Anyways, man, that's when I'm 80. I'm going to tell it all when I'm 80, 85, you know what I mean, to my son, not to no one else. But anyways, as I digress, there's some pride that Al Haymon has done with obviously having the product in Gary Russell. And there's some resentment as to, like, maybe this is just my perspective as to why Gary Russell is going outside of him to get the fight done. Because if he goes outside of Al Haymon and what Al Haymon has created, which is phenomenal, this ain't no knock on Al Haymon. The knock on Al Haymon is he hasn't done great by Gary Russell. And you saw by the shirt by Gary Russell. He says, "What's up, Al? Is Leo next?" The frustration is brewing. The frustration is going. Okay. And Al Haymon saw this. My whole shit, this shit is real. Or it has the potential, has the potential to be real, because we still have to acknowledge the zone's financial problems that they have. We still have to acknowledge them. Okay. So if I'm Gary Russell, we're going to get there in the next video, Eddie Hearn in the zone on Devin Haney. You have to acknowledge that. And you have to put something in the contract to protect you from their financial woes. Period. End of discussion. There's no schedule for Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia. They're not on the schedule yet. We went to their website yesterday. Remember? Yesterday. So we must acknowledge that. We must acknowledge that Gary Russell and Al Haymon together have not been great. They have been just below good. Okay, because Gary Russell should be fighting October 24th. That's the date. He should be fighting Tank Davis at 130 for both belts, 130 and 135. Because that's the reality. Who the fuck wanted to see Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Mares too? Obviously, a portion of the fans didn't want to see it because the crowd didn't show up as much, right? So let's just be real. You know what I mean? They forced that upon us, and Leo may have been, Leo's a nice guy. Leo's a nice guy. But he will not fight people with darker melanin than him. This is the first time we have seen Leo fight darker melanin than him, and he's still the A-side against the A-side fighter. Come down to 130, Tank. If you miss weight, it's going to cost you millions. You know what I mean? It's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, so with that being said, I think now we have that dynamic understood. Now, Al Haymon as he's looking at Devin Haney, right? He's looking at Devin Haney because obviously Al Haymon knows the deal that that Team Haney signed with the Zone, because they all negotiated, because he was on Showbox. Remember that shit? So obviously he knows that and he's made it public. He has a 5-fight deal with the Zone, right? We know that, right? He said that in several interviews. Even in my interview, he said it. So 5-fight deal. And Al Haymon is looking at it from a great business mind, and not only a mind, but the motherfucker has put it into action. The motherfucker borrowed $500 million and flipped that shit. Come on, you got to give that nigga a level of respect. You got to give him a round of applause, no matter what you do or how you cut that cake, you know? And he's turned it into 2 contracts that probably pays the interest and the principal, and pays the fighters. Win-win. You know, he's probably going 20-year plan, 30-year plan, you know. Hopefully he puts someone in charge, because he has no kids. You know, I mean, hopefully he has a secondary brain trust that he can trust, because if Al Haymon gets cancer, coma, get hit by a car, struck by lightning, gets the coronavirus, who's going to be in place to protect the PBC brand? You know what's going to happen? People going to team up. Some venture capitalists going to team up with $200 million and buy it. That's what's going to happen. So make sure Al Haymon has somebody in place to protect what he has created, you know. So he's looking at Devin Haney, and this is just my perspective. I don't know this to be true. I'm just, like I said, I consider myself a great businessman. I do, period. And he's looking at Devin Haney. So he looked at, I think Devin has fought 3 times on the Zone, if I'm not mistaken. So he knows Devin Haney has 2 fights left. And he's looking like, if Gary Russell goes over there and fights, that's 4. If there's a rematch, that's 5. Now, instead of Al, now you look at it from both ways. Instead of Al Haymon saying he's fulfilled Devin Haney's contract and he's not a part of them, and he used a PBC asset, an Al Haymon asset, you know, to fulfill that contract, he should say, wait, hold up. I don't know how they work this, but the mindset should be, hey, if I can get Gary Russell with a 2-fight deal with Devin Haney, I build both their brands, and poof, we outbid we outbid the Zone for Devin Haney's rights. You get what I'm saying? I wouldn't say rights, because they do co-promotional deals, right? It's Devin Haney Promotions, etc., right? And so with that being said, I think that might be like the entanglement. What a great word. Summer 2020, you know, I mean, entanglement, right? So with that being said, and Al Haymon has been real like loosey goosey. Amir Khan, Daniel Jacobs, John Molina, and there's a lot of others too, right? That has gone on. That light heavyweight that fights on ESPN, he has a advisory deal with Al Haymon, and he still, I assume, gets his percentage or something. I don't know, but I think this new entity that's created online and for real, to call a spade, you got to absolutely commend. No matter, take your personal feelings out of this shit. Take your personal feelings out of this and listen to the words that I am going to say. You have to respect Team Haney. Period. You have to respect Team Haney. You have to respect Team Russell. This is the first time in the history of boxing, for an extended period of time, that you have seen this play out in real time, and in real time, right? Real time. All right. And it's great. It's great. But here's the catch. How loyal are the fans? You got to understand me, and I'm challenging everyone, the few thousand people gonna watch this video. I'm challenging your ass right now. How loyal are you to what you want? And the same thing could be said in politics. The same thing could be said in sports. The same thing could be whether you're going to hold out for $15 an hour or $17 an hour. How loyal are you to the sport? Because if this fight falls through, and let's say hypothetically you go buy an ESPN pay-per-view or you go buy a PBC pay-per-view and they don't give you what you want, you're a part of the problem. You get what I'm saying? Gary Russell and Devin Haney is what we want. Is what we want. It's Dame time, nigga. It's Dame time, nigga. It's what we want. Okay? And if that's what we want, we got to stick to it. Simply put, you know what I mean? Am I asking for a revolt? I mean, shit. Nat Turner killed my great grandfather's slave owner. You know what I mean? So it's just a reality. You know what I mean? And that's the problem that we have. If this fight falls through because the business of boxing gets in the way of what we want, how are we going to respond? This has nothing to do with your favorite fighter. This has everything to do with your desires in the sport of boxing. Yes, we all have personal relationship with fighters. We all want to root for fighters. But if we don't get what we want, don't you know if we didn't buy Floyd Mayweather pay-per-views and Manny Pacquiao pay-per-views, they would have fought 3 years sooner? Being real. Don't you know if you didn't buy Mike Tyson pay-per-views and Lennox Lewis pay-per-views, they would have fought 3 years sooner? Being real. So we are the brand. We are the movement. And they're gonna push you off the cliff and make you believe that you have no value. They're gonna like and use guys. If you ever need an example on a personal level, you can go to anybody's channel. You can go to anyone in the LDBC, New Media. You can go to all their personal channels, and they can tell their story of triumph, right? But on this channel, y'all can look at me. Every what's that shit? Every outfit kicked me out. Golden Boy, Top Rank, PBC. What I do? Rest is history, right? And the people see. Here's the difference. People who are true hustlers, they look at Fred like, this nigga got it. People who always looking for acceptance from white liberals. I know this is a different video, and this is so deep, man. This is deeper than the abyss. This is deeper than the core of the earth that we actually stand on. Too many black people are looking for acceptance and handouts from white liberals. And that's the problem. That's one of the problems. When they kicked me out, did I look for acceptance? Did I lose any sleep? No, nigga. They say, you know what my spirit said? Grind, nigga. Grind, nigga. It's grind time, nigga. It's prime time, nigga. It's prime time. It's go time, nigga. It's go time. And now I turned one of my little bedrooms. I have a big 6-bedroom house. I turned one of my bedrooms into an office. And this is what you see. I'm committed to this shit now. I am over committed to succeeding now. And what have we done during quarantine? The rest is history. All these people who need white acceptance and from white liberals, they gonna say Fred don't know what the fuck he talking about. Fred ain't shit. You know what I mean? I just flipped the script on them. You know what I mean? They cut the lights out on me. I trusted my ability to feel. They locked the door. They closed the door and locked the door on me. I trust my ability to pick the lock in the dark. I got more than one sensory. You know what I mean? Put me anywhere on God's green earth, I triple my worth. And that's a fact, motherfucker. I am Hove because I'm a motherfucking God in real life. Anyhow, man. So So that's where we're at, I believe, with this fight. I think Al Haymon is like, oh shit, this is real. This is real. Fans really want this. He really sent over a contract. I'm gonna do Eddie Hearn and the Zone's perspective on this as well, and that may be next in a little bit. I gotta go run and pick something up real quick. But when I get back tonight, I made this a 30-minute video. Shit. Oh man. So if I do it back to back, it ain't gonna be as long and as in depth. So I'll probably hold off a little bit. So with that being said, that's my perspective. Gary Russell is in that 3 percentile, that 5 percentile of fighters that Al Haymon couldn't please. Simply put. And that's the reality. Al Haymon has succeeded. The business model is working. It's flourishing. It's thriving. It's going to work in the future. Okay. But Al Haymon, as the venture capitalist that he is and the pragmatic man that he is, needs to call a guy like me. And I'm talking about me now. In the beginning of this video, I was talking about everybody. He needs to call a guy like me and figure this shit out on this YouTube side, in this YouTube arena. And be black, nigga. Be black, nigga. It's time just to be black and railroad these motherfuckers. You ain't got to call a nigga a cracker to his face and all that shit, but your instincts, be black, be bold, be vibrant. It's time. Dan Raphael don't have a job. You fired Mike Coppinger, that nigga hustling online. You know what I mean? Lance Pugmire lost his job at LA Time. I'm telling you, now is the time to be bold and put these niggas on their ears, nigga. Put them on their ears on a railroad track, nigga. I will not untie you until you abide by me. That's what they did to Malcolm's father when he was preaching the truth in Omaha. They tied that nigga to a railroad track. Them Ku Klux Klan tied Malcolm X's father to a railroad track because he was spitting the truth on the road in hostile territory. And then they had the nerve to call his mama crazy. Come on, man. Al Haymon, tie these niggas to the railroad tracks. And it's only one way to get off. You're never going to walk again. You're going to crawl. And that's the truth. And that's the end of the day. And I heard stories of how Dan Raphael used to bullshit with used to tear Al Haymon. I read the articles and I heard people in the Mayweather gym told me stories. I'm gonna say it like that. People in the Mayweather gym told me stories about how Dan Raphael used to verbally assault Al Haymon. Nah, it's game over now, nigga. Game over now, nigga. And we gotta act like it. We gotta move like it. And somehow, some way, those niggas up top that Al Haymon is dealing with, you gotta empower motherfuckers. I don't need the empowerment. I just want the power to help empower niggas. So if they want these jobs on fucking Fox, I can say, here, Al, hire this nigga. I don't need to be hired. I don't want to check in and scan my motherfucking ID card. That's not the life I want to live. You know what I mean? But there are some people who want. If we could put people in these positions, then we can move like that. And that's the truth. You got to talk the truth to power, nigga, right? Truth to power. Power to the people. And I'm not even close to a whatever it is, like Black Panther. You know what I mean? So stop being satisfied with this symbolism. All right. We shouldn't be satisfied with that Black Lives Matter on the basketball court or in the back of the end zone, niggas. It's time for us to hold Al Haymon accountable and say, the niggas that want jobs, hire them. The people who are venture capitalists, work with them. And take a step back and see how this fight is being made. See how this fight is being made. You understand what I'm saying? Work together. We got to work together on this shit. We ain't got to be best friends. People think you got to, that's another problem. Christianity done fucked us up. We got to be friends to work with you. We ain't got to be fucking friends, nigga. I got 2 condos in Detroit I ain't never ever fucking stepped foot in. I ain't got it. What? Come on, man. I ain't got time for that shit. I ain't got time to be friends. I ain't never seen the tenants before in my life. We ain't got to be friends, nigga. I didn't meet the listing agent, nigga. We ain't got to be friends. We ain't friends with these niggas that work on Fox and ESPN and DAZN. They done bamboozled us, man. We got to be friends to work together. Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn and Al Haymon, Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum are working together. You think they like each other? They don't like each other, but they working together. They know how to play Batman and Robin with us. Or Batman and the Joker with us. You know what I mean? Capcom versus Marvel. Was that the video game or something like that? I don't know. Oh, you get. I know it's a different game, Street Fighter, but y'all get my point. And this is a hell of a video I just dropped. Y'all niggas share this shit on Facebook. I done gave y'all more game than I thought I was going to give on this game. So at the end of the day, Al Haymon, look at this fight and how this fight is being made and look at it like, how can I be an opportunist on this social media shit? Because this is the new wave. They don't show boxing on ESPN or Fox at 2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, 2 p.m. on a Monday afternoon. No, it's on YouTube and Instagram. Hire some niggas like Boxing Ego and Champside who are fucking amazing with the graphics, nigga. Join the team. Get with it. It's time. It's time. And if you don't know how to do it, hire an expert like Boxing Ego and Champside who are great with the graphics. I'm just being a buck with y'all, nigga. I'm just being a buck. Everyone ducking and hiding and not have. This is the real spill. We deserve Gary Russell and Devin Haney. We deserve it. We've earned it. We waited 6 years for fucking Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. We fucking deserve Gary Russell and Devin Haney right now. Period. And it's time. What y'all gonna do? Just sit on your hands, but oh, it's okay. It's time. So the 3 of them need to work together. Eddie Hearn, Al Haymon, Team Russell, Team Haney, work together and get the fight done. Give the fans what they deserve. It's time. If you made it to this point in the video, put "We Are One" in the comments. I thank y'all because it's a 40-minute video. A lot of people ain't gonna make it this far. We are one. Hashtag we are one. You know what I mean? Just being real. I got an Al Haymon fighter behind me. I got Deontay Wilder. He's a piece of my inspiration board. You know what I mean? Keep it real. You see my son, Dr. Sebi, and you know what I mean, Nip and Malcolm, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm not perfect. No means, but I'm perfect. But I know how to understand the steps that we must take. Al Haymon is an old man now, right? I believe he's somewhat 60, 61, 58, 65 in there somewhere. Now, I don't know how old the nigga is, but it's time. Okay? It's time. It's time. Touch the internet. Tap in. Tap in with this internet shit because this shit is about to explode. I'm just being real. PBC has no concept of internet. They have all the talent in the world, but they hired Brian Kenny. Showtime got all the talent in the world, but they hired 2 white dudes that we don't even recognize in the sport of boxing. Why? Because that's what they feel they're supposed to do. Well, what we supposed to do is hold our motherfucking dollar. But y'all just gonna say, nah, I'm just gonna accept it. Stop accepting shit. You only go to church one day. If you want to accept shit, accept the shit on Sunday. Don't accept the shit on Saturday night. And that's the real spill. This internet shit is bigger, the internet, no, fuck the internet. YouTube is mainstream boxing. Period. End of discussion. And it's time. Eddie Hearn, I'm going to talk about you in the next video. Swallow your motherfucking ego, nigga. Al Haymon, touch these niggas on YouTube. These niggas are dying to work with you. They want to be an asset to the progression of black people. Everybody dancing around this shit. Stop dancing and tell the fucking truth. Because if Al Haymon is not smart enough to put a nigga in place, Billy Wanger is gonna buy this shit, or whoever Billy Wanger is associated with, Viacom gonna come in here and tear this motherfucker down. Tim Smith ain't doing his fucking job. Stop running from the truth. Tell the truth. It's time. The reason why I am a black millionaire because I fought through the murkiness. I told a nigga to his face, nah, fuck you. I don't want your blood money. I'm gonna build this shit on my own. I walked out of Warner Brothers with $1 million check, a multi-million-dollar deal on the table. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm telling y'all, work together on this shit. Al Haymon, tap in with these niggas. Tap in with these beautiful people on YouTube and Instagram and take this shit over. Period. End of discussion. Everything you have in place is great. I'm not saying use the YouTube and Instagram to replace shit. No. Tom Brown and them have done a phenomenal job at hiring people, hiring minorities, tapping into the culture, whether they do it because they love it, or whether they do it for monetization, or whether they do it for visual appeal, is great. Kelly Swanson ain't never hired a black person. Matter of fact, Kelly Swanson don't even have no one as a PR person that speaks Spanish, nigga. So let's cut with the bullshit. If you're going to be a real man when it counts. We need Gary Russell, Devin Haney. We created this shit. This shit started on Barbershop Conversation. Do I want the feather in my cap? Yes, but I understand how important this fucking fight is. I understand how important this fight is to make this shit on the internet. Stop fucking ducking the truth. We gonna tell the motherfucking truth, period. If we get this fight, we take over boxing, period, end of discussion. And or we work together with Al Haymon, period, end of discussion. There's over 30,000 boxing fans right now clamoring for what's next. 30, 50,000, I don't know how many. They're clamoring for information right now. Clamoring for this shit. And we gonna dance and play politics as usual. No, we ain't doing that shit no more. We ain't doing that shit no more. We ain't doing that shit no. We ain't playing like that no more. Because you know why politics as usual don't work for niggas down at the bottom? Because they kick me out. They only let one nigga up to the top. Al Haymon, I need you to get 10 niggas up to the top. That's on my Christmas list, nigga. Since we gonna believe in white Jesus, nigga, that's on my Christmas list. Put 10 niggas up at top. That's what I want. And that's what I feel, man. It's time, y'all. It's time to ride. It's time for us to take this shit over. How much more we gonna take? How many times they gonna kill us before we say, I don't just want to shout and say hashtag and Black Lives Matter? This is the Black Wall Street, niggas. This internet shit is the Black Wall Street. It ain't gotta be brick and mortar. I am the Black Wall Street. The fact that my son and daughter will never have to work for a cracker a day in their life is the Black Wall Street, niggas. And that's the realest shit that I can ever tell y'all. We are Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street ain't just in Tulsa. It's not a brick and mortar. It's not on, what's that, Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. It's not just, no, it's not there anymore. It's on this internet, nigga. This is how we connect. I connect with thousands of people every day that I may never meet in real life. But if they died today, I would cry for 3 days. And that's the realest shit ever. Stop saying, oh, this nigga got a title. No, it's time for black people to come together on some real shit. Period. Period. And we got to ostracize those niggas that ain't black when it's time to be black. Kick them. Don't invite these niggas back in. Everybody can't go. Nipsey said it, nigga. Everybody can't go. Period. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Ain't that what Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey say? Let's go. It's time. It's time, y'all. It's time. There's a great opportunity. There's a level of white empathy, whatever that means. White liberal empathy. Let's be an opportunist as a culture. Ain't nobody up there gonna have this conversation with y'all. Everybody's too afraid to have this fucking conversation. They don't want to step on nobody's toes. They don't believe they can add an extra $30,000 on them betting on themselves. Whew. I done said a lot. So what we gonna do? What we gonna do? We deserve Gary Russell, Devin Haney. Make the fight on every level. Make the fight. I ain't letting Eddie Hearn. Your ass ain't off the hook neither. You next, nigga. You next on the Summer Jam screen. And this is the truth. The same way they want me to pay my $74.95 for the Charlo brothers tomorrow. They want that loyalty. They want that financial loyalty. Well, we need some I'm gonna make the best fight loyalty for the fucking fans. Motherfucking Mikey Garcia get the parade around like he the motherfucking king of boxing. That's enough said. Mikey Garcia get the parade around this nigga and look at niggas in the face and laugh at him. This nigga told Floyd on the LA Setback video that oh, that's he needs to mature. Then 2 years later, Mikey Garcia got 50. He flaunt money and buying cars. That's kid shit. That's immaturity. Floyd need to grow up. 3 years later, Mikey Garcia got 15 cars. How many can you drive, Mikey? Ain't that immaturity? Yeah, I don't hear me though. Barbershop conversations, man. 46, man. If you made it this far, put We Are One in the comment section. Tap into my Instagram, man. Silent Heroes IG, man. I love y'all niggas. Peace, man.